You know, for over a century, the police sketch has been this iconic, almost legendary tool in the hunt for criminals. But now, artificial intelligence is stepping in and completely changing the game, making it faster, more accessible, and, yeah, maybe even more accurate than ever. So, how is this new tech really remaking the face of justice itself?
And that's really the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's always been the core challenge. A witness sees a face, usually in a moment of pure chaos and stress, and law enforcement has to somehow pull that fragile memory out and turn it into a picture someone can actually recognize. It's always been part psychology, part artistry, and now it's also part algorithm.
All right, so let's back up a bit. Drawing a suspect from memory is nothing new. We're talking since the early 1900s. And there's a simple reason it's stuck around for so long. It works. It's a technique that has a proven track record of creating a lead when there's absolutely nothing else to go on.
So what exactly is a composite sketch? Well, it's way more than just a drawing. Think of it as a powerful filter. It gives an investigation its first real, tangible direction. It's the tool that lets law enforcement turn to the public and say, "Have you seen this person?" It empowers everyone to be the eyes and ears for the police.
But as effective as this whole process can be, let's get real. The day-to-day reality of creating a traditional composite sketch is actually filled with problems. The ideal scenario you might imagine, well, that rarely matches what's happening on the ground for most police departments.
And this slide really lays it bare. The gap between what we think happens and what actually happens is huge. You'd think a skilled forensic artist is just a phone call away, right? Nope. There are only a few dozen full-time artists in the entire US. That scarcity means delays, and in an investigation, delays can absolutely kill a case's momentum. And that's not even getting into the risk of an artist's own subconscious bias accidentally changing the face.
So to tackle all those issues, a new generation of AI tools has started to pop up. The best way to think about it is like a forensic artist on demand, available 24/7, designed to be totally objective, incredibly fast, and accessible to pretty much any officer with a computer.
So how does this thing actually work? It all starts with step 1, input. An investigator can enter descriptions from several different witnesses, even if their stories don't totally line up. Once all that data is in, hair color, eye shape, you name it, it moves to step 2, generate. The AI crunches everything and spits out a set of initial faces in just a few minutes.
But here's where it gets really clever. This is one of the AI's most powerful tricks. Before it even draws a single line, it analyzes all the testimony and looks for contradictions. If one witness says the guy had brown eyes and another says they were blue, the system flags it. Right away, investigators know where the memories differ and who they might need to talk to again. Okay, next up is the refinement phase. After picking one of the initial sketches, an investigator and the witness can tweak it using simple text commands. No artistic skill needed here. You can literally just type, "Make the nose a little wider," or "Darken the hair," and bam, the AI generates a new version on the spot.
So let's break down the features that make this a potential game changer. That uncertainty flagging I mentioned, that is huge for transparency in an investigation. The consolidated analysis makes sure every single piece of information is baked into the final image. And of course, the ability to make changes so quickly while ensuring the face is always anatomically correct, that means you can get to a more accurate face way faster. And the final piece of the puzzle is documentation. The system automatically creates a complete PDF report. It's got the final sketch, every single witness statement, and a summary of the AI's analysis. This isn't just a pretty picture. It creates a rock-solid, transparent evidence trail for the case file, and potentially for court. Okay, so we've seen the how, but what about the so what? I mean, what are the real-world results here? To really get a feel for the AI's potential, we first need to look at the stats for the traditional method. And here it is. Even with all its limitations, a traditional hand-drawn sketch generates a productive lead in about half of all cases. Think about that. That's a coin flip's chance of breaking a case wide open from a single drawing. That's pretty incredible.
And look at this. When the sketch is based on something like grainy surveillance video instead of just human memory, that success rate jumps up to 60%.
This is an area where AI is uniquely suited to excel, taking low-quality footage and turning it into a clear, usable face that someone might actually recognize.
But here's something most people don't think about. A sketch isn't just about finding the right person. It's also about clearing the wrong ones. A single composite can help investigators rule out up to 95% of potential suspects. That lets police focus their time, money, and energy where it matters most.
And let's never forget the human impact behind these numbers. This quote from Lois Gibson, the world's most successful forensic artist. I mean, wow. I've helped identify more than 1,300 criminals. Each one of those numbers is a case solved, a family that got some closure, some measure of justice delivered. That's the powerful legacy this new technology is building on.
So this all leads to a really big question, right? With a tool this powerful, is the era of the human forensic artist just over? Or is the reality a little more complicated than that?
Well, according to the experts, including amazing artists like Lois Gibson herself, the answer is a hard no. They argue that for the really tough, nuanced cases, the empathy, the experience, the human ability to interpret what's not being said, that's irreplaceable. An algorithm, after all, can't build trust with a traumatized victim.
And this really breaks it down perfectly. It shows us that this isn't really a competition, it's about collaboration. The AI brings the speed, the 24/7 availability, and the objective analysis. The human artist brings the nuance, the empathy, and decades of experience. They're two different tool sets, both working toward the exact same goal.
So in the end, it really feels like this technology is pushing us toward a future where justice isn't a choice between a human and a machine. It's a partnership. A future where the cold, hard objectivity of an algorithm can work hand in hand with the warm empathy of an artist, and together, they can not only help solve more crimes, but also ensure the face of justice is more accurate than it's ever been before.